Hi, Coach. Andrea Case, CTV News. In the back here, I'm going to get it out of the way. Married with 3 kids. You've spent a lot of time with this team. You've dedicated a lot. What does your wife want you to do now that the season's over?
Whatever she tells me. No, obviously, I'm real lucky. I'm blessed with a beautiful, beautiful wife and then the 3 great kids, and the family is number 1 priority in my life without any question. So we do a good job of being in contact with our kids all the time and having a big part of their life. So I have a nice lake place that I spend a lot of time at. My kids get there quite a bit, so I'll enjoy the off season. But the great thing about my job is you can do your job from where you're at. And we have a big summer for Shani Lou and myself and the guys is, we need to improve our hockey club. So we're going to do that and do the work and get it done. But I think it's important to recharge too and have good quality family time.
Mike, I know you talked last year about how there might not have been enough players for the jobs that you had. Was that internal competition this year maybe the best example of how the organization has grown?
Well, for sure. And I mean, just in exit meetings today is you're telling guys they got to come back and win a job. That's just reality. We'll have more people coming, and I think that's what it's all about is the more competition you have internally for those jobs, the better opportunity you're going to have for success long term. And we're not good enough. I said it before, if you look at Tampa and the quality organization they are, and they still almost got in the playoffs with the injuries they had, that wouldn't have been possible for us. We're not at that level yet. That's possible. So we have to continue to stay healthy, but we got to grow our group too. We got to get much deeper as an organization. And it was an unbelievable positive year for us. We made the playoffs and played, but we finished 8th, and we're out. So we got a lot of work to do, and we understand that as an organization. But I think it's important to enjoy the small steps you make, or the big steps you make, and get ready and understand how hard it's going to be. It's hard to make the playoffs in the National Hockey League.
Mike, over to your left. George Lagagenis, CP24 News. Now that the season's done, as the head coach of the Leafs, what's going to keep you up at night, or will anything keep you up at night over the summer?
Well, I sleep pretty good, period. So, I'm not one of those guys that stays up at night. I sleep fast when I get a chance and enjoy it. But no, I'm gonna, to be honest with you, I'm gonna enjoy the summer the best I can. I'm gonna go to the World Championships right away. There's a few players there that we've identified that I want to see. I'm going to do that, and then obviously the Memorial Cup's right in Windsor. I'll get a chance to do that, and whatever hockey opportunity we have, I'll be at, and we'll get prepared for next year. But we have to improve our hockey club. We understand that, so that's what we're going to go about doing.
Mike, what's a reasonable expectation you think for the team next year?
That's a good question. We want to make the playoffs. I think in today's National Hockey League, you look at it, and I look at the teams that missed this year that are really good teams that plan on being in next year. It's going to be a battle for us. And to just think that we're at the level that's automatic, yet it's not for us. We talked about Washington. We want to be a team in that situation that you're in the playoffs every year when the pucks drop at the start of the season, and it's just how far you play in the spring. That's what we want to get to. We're not at that level.
Well, Chris kind of asked what I was going to, but has that expectation changed at all in your mind or in Lou's mind based on how this season went?
Well, I think obviously we had a good year, and I thought when Lou was willing to spend a second-round pick to get Boyle, it was indication that we needed to get in the playoffs. We thought it was good for our growth and development. I think we've created expectation amongst our fans and our city, and I understand all that. But with Shani, Lou, and myself, we have a plan here to build a program, and that's what we're going to do. So this isn't going to make us deviate from anything we're doing whatsoever. We're just going to keep building the program. As you see all the teams in the league, you see how many good teams there are, how hard it is to make the playoffs, and then how lucky and fortunate you have to be with injuries to win the cup in the end. We'd like to put ourselves in a position to do that here one day sooner than later, and so we just keep focused on what we're doing and improving our club.
Mike, Mike, can you measure the impact of your coaching staff in acclimating a young group to the National Hockey League as quickly as they did?
Well, I think the guys do a good job. I think, Steve Briere obviously has done a real good job, Brew and Beanbag there with what they do behind closed doors, and then Jim Hiller on the power play and DJ with our defense and our penalty kill. It's expectations are interesting in life. In some organizations, if you finish 8th and you're done after 6 games, it's a tough year for you. When you've been where we are, it's a good year for you. But I think the consistency that you want out of a player, you want out of a team. In order to be consistent as a team, you got to build something that has enough depth that you can do it time in and time out. The coaching staff has to do their part, without any question. The management team does. Everybody has to do their part. The players do, and so I think the guys did a good job. And yet, we enjoy the players a lot here, and I think we have a pretty good time with them. We push them hard, and we'll continue to do that.
Looking ahead to next season, do you feel like it's important to name a captain?
No.
Coach, over here, when you go to the whiteboard this summer, sort of a two-pronged question: how much change are you expecting for the franchise, for the team next year, and do you see William Nylander maybe being center next year?
No, Willie's not going to be a center next year, and there'll be changes.
Mike, just for clarification, Nikita Zaitsev was cleared to play and to return to the playoffs, but not so for the Worlds.
Yeah,
Correct?
He's what would I say? He's playoff ready, but it doesn't feel as good. Needs time. So, because we've been given the opportunity to do that, he's not going to play for his country at the Worlds, and he's going to get 100% healthy. And if you go through our whole group, we got some banged up guys, and so I think it's important for Nikita to get as healthy as he can. A big year for him. He played in the World Championships last year, played in the World Cup, played all year for us, played more hockey than he's ever played, and it was great. Needs to get freshened up.
Mike, you talked about your overall message in your exit interviews with the players. What was part of the message to Austin Matthews?
Well, just, get home, enjoy your mom and dad and your sisters, and get healthy, and then get to work. One thing about Austin, he wants to be the best player, and so guys who want to be the best player usually don't have too much trouble bearing down and getting to work. He's a worker anyway, so I thought obviously a good year for Austin. He enjoyed the city. The city enjoyed him. He was a good player, but he needs to get better, and he knows that.
How big of a learning experience were the playoffs for the young kids on the team, and how much better do you expect them to be next year because of that learning experience?
Yeah, I don't know how you measure it exactly, but I think obviously it was a huge deal for us, and it was great that we were able to play a good team like Washington, who gave you no space and no room, and you had to really dig in. I thought that was positive as well. In saying all that is the guys need to enjoy a couple weeks off, and they got to get to work. And when you look at our roster, we got a bunch of guys that need to put meat on their bones. They're young guys, and we now got some guys that need to get quicker, lighter, and we got other guys who just need to develop their bodies more. So we got lots of work to do this off season. So the playoffs are going to help. Having success this year, having a different expectation, being in an environment. The environment here is spectacular, second to none. It's great, and the guys have had a taste of it now, and they're going to want to have that. In order to have that, we got to get better.
Mike, Austin said he's not going to be participating at the World Championships. Why do you think that's the best course of action for him to sort of get away from game action and worry about getting work done off the ice?
Yeah, well, we met with Austin and made that decision, and we're in full support of that decision. Each and every guy, based on how their body feels at this time of the year, and what's going on. Austin's no different than Zeitz. He was at the World Championships, then he was World Cup, and then he played. So it's been a long year for players too, and so whatever you got to do to be set up to go, if it was going to be beneficial for you to go and you could help your team, then I think that was important as well. These guys, both in Zeitz and Matthews, have always stepped up for their country and want to step up for their country, so I don't think that's an issue whatsoever. But at this time, they both feel, and we feel this is the best for them.